Mount Agung in Bali has been threatening to erupt for nearly 3 weeks. Thousands of earthquakes have been recorded at the volcano and seismic activity remains dangerously high. Mount Agung has been observed spewing plumes of white smoke. Bali officials raised the volcano alert to the maximum level on September 22. More than 140,000 Bali residents have been evacuated. The state of emergency in Bali has been extended to October 16. Experts have warned an eruption could happen at any time, bringing you the latest news, live updates, seismic graphs, maps and warnings on the Bali volcano Mount Agung. All times BST 10:50 p.m. Tourism to Bali. Chinese tourists have overtaken Australians as Bali's biggest source of tourism, the latest information has revealed. Bali's seen a 58.69% increase in Chinese tourists from January to August 2017, up from the same period last year, according to the Central Bureau of Statistics (BPS) Bali Province. BPS Director Adi Nugroho said there were 1.04 million Chinese tourists visiting Bali in the January-August period this year. 9:15 p.m. A positive side effect if Mount Agung erupts. There might be one upside if Mount Agung does erupt, with the ash ejected from the volcano affecting the soil in the long term. However, experts estimate that this could take between 1,015 years to have an impact. While volcanic soils only cover 1% of the world's land surface, they can support 10% of the world's population, including some areas with the highest population densities. Diane Fiontis from University of Andalus in Padang is a volcanic ash hunter. She sees volcanic eruptions as an opportunity to study the beginning of how soils formed, a process that could take thousands and even millions of years. 7:45 p.m. Google issues SOS alert as Agung eruption fears Mount. Google has issued an SOS alert on its search engine that aims to provide people in Bali with key information in case of an emergency. The alert is called Mount Agung Volcano Eruption and should appear at the top of results when people search for the incident. 5:32 p.m. Nearly 186,000 people live in Bali. Volcano danger zone. Bali Governor Made Mangku Pastika believes 185,865 people have homes in Mount Agung's evacuation zone. Official estimates suggest no more than 150,000 people have moved to evacuation camps, while thousands of others are staying with friends or family elsewhere on the island. Mr. Pastika said of the 28 villages, the number of evacuees should be 185,865 people, coming from 54,788 families, but I estimate that there are 30,000 or more who evacuated to their families' homes, so now the refugee card will help record this data. Looking for shortcomings, identity cards will be handed out to refugees to keep track of who is staying at which camp. Bali volcano update. An estimated 186,000 people live in Mount Agung's danger zone. 3:56 p.m. Eerie video shows deserted streets in Bali. The camera woman shooting the video can be heard blaming Mount Agung for the lack of tourists in Bali. There's something really quiet and eerie tonight about Bali, she said. There doesn't seem to be any tourists, probably because of the volcano. Officials have estimated that as many as 60,000 travelers could cancel their trips to Bali because of the continuing threat of Mount Agung. 2:34 p.m. Bali volcano refugees asked to be more independent, with volunteer numbers within evacuation camps starting to diminish. Agung refugees have been encouraged to be more independent. Bali officials told Antari News that evacuees can help keep the camps hygienic by ensuring they always clean up after themselves. 1:15 p.m. Bali volcano rocked by 217 earthquakes overnight. Mount Agung was hit by 73 shallow earthquakes, 135 deep volcanic quakes and 9 local tremors between midnight and 6 a.m. local time today. Thick white smoke was observed rising about 200 meters above the volcano's crater, according to Bali's geological agency. Bali volcano news. Mount Agung has been releasing white steam. 12:53 p.m. To recap on Bali volcano eruption threat. Balinese locals are living under a state of emergency, with volcano experts warning that Mount Agung could erupt at any time. The volcano is releasing a continuous plume of white steam from its crater, and the consensus among volcanologists is that an eruption is the most likely outcome at this point. Drive Janine Kripper, who has been monitoring Agung closely for the past 3 weeks, said there is still no more certainty with the Agung situation. As of the last report, it is still more likely than not that an eruption will occur, but there is no certainty with this. Getty Bali volcano update. More than 140,000 people evacuated Mount Agung. There are too many unknowns, even with the best technology. Seismic activity underneath Mount Agung has increased dramatically in recent weeks, the clearest indication that an eruption could occur. Yesterday the volcano was hit by 824 earthquakes in total. Of these, 317 were shallow earthquakes, 484 were deep earthquakes and 23 were local tectonic quakes. More than 140,000 Balinese locals have abandoned their homes to escape the threat of eruption since the volcano alert was raised to the maximum level 4 on September 22. However, about half of this number were ordered to return home by Bali officials because they faced no immediate danger. Friday, October 6, 2017, Mount Agung volcano from the Kubu subdistrict in Karangasem Regency on Indonesia's resort island of Bali on October 6, 2017. Bali Governor Mangku Pastika later admitted this was a mistake as he did not realize how many people were living in the most at-risk villages. I apologize. I had the wrong information about the number of people living in the 28 villages, he said. Mount Agung has not erupted since 1963, when a series of explosions killed more than 1,100 people and injured about 300 more. Mr. Pastika believes Bali's swift evacuation process this time around means there will be no deaths if Agung erupts again. If something happened, even if an eruption happened today, I guarantee there will be no victims, he said. Bali volcano update live. Read older Mount Agung updates here.